Hi Jackson.
So,
Um, so we went to check the greenhouse out, and how did you feel? Tell me about your experience.
it was scary. It was really scary. Um, felt evil in there. Yeah.
Tell them about the story that you know about that place.
Oh, so all I know is four of the same gang members, like on the same gang, died in that place, and how they died is confidential.
You do a lot of research about different places, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
So when we didn't check out each room, what was the feeling of your dad leading us?
It was scary. Felt like he was possessed.
And then when we were done and at home safe and sound, what did he tell us?
He wanted to go back.
Anything else you want to say about it?
Nah.
Are you ever going to go back there?
Nope.
Not for no nothing?
Nope.
Alright, you heard it first from Jackson. Alright guys, and here's my interview, Aniki, of the greenhouse. So my experience was, like kind of said, sketched out right from the very beginning, as soon as we pulled up. Now mind you, this is in the middle of a neighborhood, and you know, the feeling just wasn't good. It felt dark and what, like an evil presence being there. And as we, you know, of course we prayed before we went in. Going in, there was a dead raccoon. There was multiple noises. It felt like things were shuffling around, footsteps, a lot of banging. You know, it was really a very creepy feel to it. And there's like three or four different sections that we went through. And the first one wasn't too bad. It was as we were getting farther and farther into the greenhouse, it just felt like something was either following us, watching us. You know, Craig leading us it was hard because it felt like we weren't able to explore each individual room or greenhouse part. It was like he knew exactly where to go, and it was like something was making him go. Like he knew each and every hole to get through, and it was very strange for us. And leading into, you know, the second or third one, there was tools, there was just stuff everywhere. Very eerie feeling, like we were being pushed that way, we were being led that way, almost as if something was behind us and making us go as fast as we could through there. Because like I would have liked to, you know, look around more, see what we see what we hear. And then the very last building, I mean, there was either people or something in there. We heard it talking, we heard it walking, shuffling, but it almost felt as if there was 100 people in there just surrounding us. And, you know, at that point, it felt like something just got up and started walking at us. Like, and it didn't catch in the video, unfortunately, and that's when we all decided to, you know, to get out of there. We were going to go back the same way we were going to go in, and saw that there was a hole in one of the windows, and, you know, yeah, let your kids go first. Nope. I was like, every man for himself, and I was out of there. And as we were leaving, everybody got out safely. It felt as if something was literally running at us. And, you know, a lot of whispering and things like that were going on in the building. But we get to the car. I mean, I just wanted to get out of there because I felt like we were going to get attacked by a person. And so that's our dog, Micah. And so, you know, we left. Of course, we said our prayer out and we left. All right, Craig. We went to the greenhouse, and I want you to tell all our viewers your experience and how you felt being there.
I guess I should go back to, I've probably walked by it 30 times, and I've been around the back side of it. Something keeps calling me back there, and I was really excited when I found out we were going to do that as our challenge or our adventure, because I wanted to see the inside of it. I'd really only stepped a foot inside of it, and then got kind of freaked out when I was by myself.
Why'd you get freaked out?
Just a feeling I had inside of there. It was real oppressive, and something in the side of that place when I was there by myself. It was like they didn't want me there. So, and then I got real freaked out about homeless people being in there, and I didn't have my baton or my flashlight or anything with me, and so I left. So when we went back that night, I was pretty excited because we were ready. You know, we all had something to defend ourselves with. We had flashlights. I was ready to do some exploring. Didn't expect it to be like that. When we went in the way I went in before, man, it just felt like something was calling me to just go deep into that place. And it was a big place. I mean, I don't know if you guys can tell from the video, but it's big. I mean, it was a big, big place.
It had like 3 or 4 rooms, different rooms, 4 or 5, I don't know.
I think the one that we finally got to at the end was like 3 football fields long. Remember we shined our lights and you couldn't even see the very end of it? And that's where, I felt like that's where I was being called, to that main part. Because of that, remember that first part, we looked around, there was a dang dead raccoon, and we barely even looked at it. We're like, oh, raccoon, let's keep going. And we kept going deeper. And I don't know, it was fun to try to figure out how to get into the rooms. And, the room that had the trees growing through it, that really kind of creeped me out a little bit. But I just wanted to get through that room. I wanted to see what was on the other side. And then when the big metal plate was there, and we went into that next room, the scent, the odor was overpowering. It was like fertilizer to me. It smelled like, what it really smelled like was when I was in the Army and we used to shoot the tanks, that chemical burn smell. And so I think I'm glad we just kind of booked it through that room. But the room that really, like, when we got to the main room and there was that little office to the right, that's when I started freaking out a little bit. Because I knew there was somebody back there or something. Got back behind those vines, all those dead vines and stuff. And then I could hear you guys talking and saying that you saw something and you heard something. And that's when I got freaked out and I deployed the baton. And I wanted to go ahead of you guys to see if there was something out there. And I never really saw anything. I heard stuff and I felt stuff. And then when I walked way far forward of you guys...
What do you mean you felt stuff? Like, what did you feel?
I felt like there was people closing in around us. I felt like it was people surrounding us. You know, when I was in the Army, we played war games a lot, and that's how it felt. You want to take a break?
Resume. Sorry about that interruption. We have some ruly neighbors, to say the least. Anyways, go ahead and continue. You had deployed your baton.
So, as I walked forward, I was talking to whatever that was, and I was just telling them we weren't there to bother them, and we weren't there to mess with them. We were just checking the place out. But I could feel like somebody putting their hand on my chest and pushing me backwards, and that's kind of where I got freaked out, because I heard you saying, they're coming, or something similar to that. I don't remember exactly what you're saying, but I felt like they were surrounding us. Like, I don't know how to describe it. I felt like it was people, but I don't know if it was or not. You know, I mean, obviously we didn't see anybody. But then that's when I came back and was like, we should probably get going. But I think if I might have been by myself, I probably would have kept going, and I would have gotten in trouble. Because, like, later we found out, remember, that there was asbestos in there. So I'm glad we didn't keep going, you know. But that was freaky.
And a few days later, you drove by.
Yeah.
And what did you see?
I drove by, and they had a big 6-foot tall chain link fence all the way around the whole property. And all kinds of do not enter, do not come in here, trespassers, no trespassing signs up on the fences.
But when we went there, that wasn't there.
No, there was no fence. There was nobody to keep anybody
There was
out.
no sign.
No?
Do you think it was because we were in there, or do you think it's because they found homeless people in there?
I think really it's because they were doing the work in there, and as they moved towards the front of the building, they had to keep people out of there because of the asbestos. That's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
And we weren't prepared as far as masks
We
for
should have been
mold
wearing
and
masks,
everything else.
something over our face or something, at least a rag.
All right. Anything else?
No, it was fun. I want to do it again.
And
That's the bad thing, is that place keeps calling me back. I would sneak back in there. Like, that's the thing. For some reason, that place keeps drawing me there. Like, it's always in the back of my mind to go over there. So we need to come up with another adventure pretty quick.
well, I think our next explorer is exploring the Colorado railroads. All right. Well, thank you for your interview, and talk to you later. Hi. Okay. Hi, Kynan. So we went to the greenhouse. Can you tell us how you felt while you were there and your experience of being there?
Well, when we first pulled up, it looked really, really sketchy. And as soon as we got there, I had a really bad vibe about the place.
Can you explain on the why that you feel these things? Because it seems like your whole life you're really sensitive. You're really sensitive to spirits and of things happening, like your dreams actually coming true.
I don't know. I just felt like a really heavy presence to the place. And then when we went in, it felt like something was watching us. And then we went into that second room, and it felt like things were multiple things were starting to close in on us, and we started hearing banging and footsteps. And, I don't know. It just felt like everything was closing in around us.
How'd you feel about when Craig was leading us?
Kind of creepy.
It seemed like he was like going right towards something, right?
Yeah, it's like something like attached themselves to Craig and was like leading him towards whatever was there.
Right. And how do you feel now? Would you ever go back there?
During the day.
All right, thank you.